Nidus Breachcast, the world's first identity management app made exclusively for identity experts and product owners, is available in the iOS App Store now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, CIO and co-founder of Nidus, and today we have a question from TikTok where Brook Shields asks, how do I get into cloud security? Today I want to address a user comment where Brook Shields has asked me, I feel flattered, she is getting into cloud security. She's been studying cloud security for a while. They want to know what should they be doing? Should they go back to school, or what's the best option for continuing on the education to get into a cloud security role? So first off, I'm going to tell you right now, do not go to school. Do not go back to school. You don't need to go back to school. If you already got a degree, great. Stop. As soon as you get that bachelor's, just stop. From that point forward, you can learn everything else on your own. You'll learn it faster, cheaper, and way more in depth just by committing the time to it. So if you were to, let's say, spend 8 hours a day just focusing on studying cloud security stuff on your own, you will have a much better understanding in 1 year than if you went to school for 3 years with their stupid programs that are all outdated, taught by people that don't know what they're doing. So don't go back to school. Now, what can you do? You really need to figure out how to do it yourself. There really aren't good books and stuff out there to do it, and honestly, it's kind of a waste of time. If you're already doing cloud security stuff, then you already have the fundamentals. So at this point, what I do, for me, whenever I learn stuff like this, is I make up a project that involves something that I want to learn. And therefore, it kind of forces me to figure out how to do that thing, and then, you kind of get it that way. So as an example, from a cloud security perspective, I really wanted to learn microservices years ago, right? I was like, hey, I really think this Lambda stuff is cool, but I don't understand it. It's complicated. I'm kind of new to AWS. I knew instances and, bare minimum to get it working, but that was really about it. So what I did is I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a project, and it was called Domination, where it takes videos and then it uses AI to find all the cut points based on when it thinks there's a good clip to make, and then from there it then renders the video, it then strips out the audio, and then it transcribes the audio into text, and then it takes everything and delivers it all to you. Say, here's all your stuff. It puts watermarks and does all kinds of crazy stuff. But really what it comes down to is I did the entire thing serverless. I forced myself to. So with that, I learned Lambdas, I learned API gateways, I learned the subnet routing infrastructures, I learned the WAFs for the front end because I had to put that there, Lambda authorizers, Cognito for user signups, and it's really just kind of learn as you go. Because I'm like, okay, so first I want to reach this Lambda. How do I do that? And it's like, okay, I need to learn API gateway. So then by learning the API gateway, I then learned, okay, well, here's how you can do authorizations, and you can tie Cognito for users into it. You can use API keys. You can do all types of canary type of rollouts. So with each product that I needed to learn, I would just start dumping into the documentation, start reading up. What does this do? How does this work? It's just like anything else in computers. It's when you find a new little toy and a gadget, you just read up on it. Like, okay, well, what are all the cool things that I can do with this? Watch a bunch of YouTube videos. There's tons of them out there that will give you more in-depth stuff specific to the issue that you're trying to set up. And really, it's just hands-on. You really just have to do it. If you're going into cloud security, you need to learn AWS, number one. It is by far the biggest cloud infrastructure out there that's used in the enterprise. Number two is Azure, and then you have Google Cloud, and then maybe Oracle Cloud. I wouldn't worry about yourself about Google or Oracle right now unless you have a real need to. Like, there's a client saying, hey, we're hosted there, we need to learn this stuff. So if you learn AWS first, I think that's the best one. Azure is probably the close second that you'll want to pick up as well. From there, break into your stuff. So set up instances, set up Lambda infrastructure, set up a direct connect to a little VPN on your backend, set up an internet gateway, and then start poking and prodding and start saying, hey, look, I've set up this internet gateway. How can I break it? Start looking into how to hack it. So a lot of the stuff from a security perspective is you learn how to secure stuff and enforce things by breaking into it and knowing what the weaknesses are. So you kind of got to learn what those are. So you can do that. I mean, right now with AI, ChatGPT can be your best friend. Now, from the hacking perspective, these AI agents aren't going to tell you how to hack stuff, but you can download Ollama, and then you can get Meta Llama 3 library out there. You can just get the 8 billion bit one, You could run that whole thing locally on your laptop. And actually, there's with Olama, there is an uncensored, I think it's the Dolphin, I forget, it's been a little bit now, but there's an uncensored version of Llama 3 that you can download and run locally on your machine, and it will tell you how to hack stuff. It's not 100% right, because it's not really the best, but it will definitely give you really good direction on how to break into stuff, or at least where to look next. And then from there you can use that and do old school Google searching, watching videos, Stack Exchange, Overstack, all that kind of stuff, and learn from there. So to start out, if you're looking to get into cybersecurity, you got to learn AWS. You should pick up some Azure within AWS, because there's a ton of stuff. Obviously EC2 world, so the instances, Kubernetes, if you're going to look up containers, if you're already familiar with that. If you're not familiar with containers, this is all new to you, put containers at the end. Kubernetes is a lot to learn. So EC2 number one, Lambdas for microservices, API gateways are important, S3 for buckets for storage. Anything that really is going to be routing. So your routing, your ACLs, your internet gateways, the subnets that you have, like that whole infrastructure, learning how to get something secured from the internet to your instance without exposing the instance to the internet, using VPCs, virtual private clouds. You want to have that infrastructure of, okay, I have a user that needs to reach this instance to run a command. How do I do that securely? And then, so as you learn these different pieces, throw a WAF, a web access firewall in front. You can have that. You can have it fronted with an API gateway. You can use VPC direct link to go from VPC to VPCs. So really just kind of make a lab and just start messing around with it and try to break into things. And then at each point, really understand the technology at each point, understand subnets, understand routing, understand gateways, understand firewalls. And then, like I said, try to break through, see what other people have done, find vulnerabilities of people that got through, understand how they've done it. And then from there, once you have that solid understanding, at least from a base point of how to do that, you're pretty much on your way. And then you can say, hey, I understand instances. I understand how to lock down network infrastructure. I understand VPCs. I understand how to do on-prem to cloud infrastructure design. So those are the kinds of things you want to look for. So I hope that helps you out. But yeah, stay out of school. Sounds weird, but yeah, it's honestly the best advice I can give you. See you around. Nidus has just created the first iOS app made exclusively for identity management professionals. It's called Nidus Breachcast, and you can download it now. It's amazing. We have real-time updates of all the latest breaches that are occurring, CVEs as they come out real-time, really pertaining just to identity management. We have media that's going on this podcast. We're going to be bringing in a lot more others as well. And we even have a complete vendor list of all the identity management vendors and all their products, so you can find out exactly where to download their software, all the documentation. And what's even more awesome is an identity management glossary. All those crazy words and acronyms that we can never remember, they're all listed in there for you. No ads, just pure information to make your life simple.